What is up, everybody, and welcome to the third edition of the All-NBA podcast. Today, I have my first guest, and we're going to be discussing the NBA lottery and a few other things. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so the Suns picked first, and obviously they picked DeAndre Ayton, which we all expected, and then they traded for Mikal Bridges. So how do you think the Suns did in the draft?
I like a lot what the Suns did, man. DeAndre Ayton, he has the potential to be a great center in this league. I don't care if he looks like he's 28 or whatever they're saying about him, whether it's in the Bahamas or the United States. He was a great pick. They needed a center because, Tyson Chandler is well over on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah.
And the other guy, Alex Len, he's not going to be a superstar for star at all. He's an okay bench player, but I don't see him being this reliable starter for 82 games in the season. That's where DeAndre Ayton comes in. They addressed a really important position on their roster, and it was smart of them to do that. Now, as for Mikal Bridges, you already know that, and we've argued about this, so you already know. I was adamant about the Knicks getting Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Am I mad that we got Kevin Knox? Hell no. Am I mad that Philadelphia drafted Mikal Bridges? Kind of, yeah, being from Camden and then the Philly influence and all that crap. But what really just baffled me the most about the Mikal Bridges trade, and it kind of made me feel bad, is that his mother had been working within the organization for years. He even had a locker room dedicated to him during the season last year. And then they just go and trade him while he's still talking with his Knicks. Not his Knicks cap. Oh, my God, I wish. The Sixers cap on him. And then next thing you know, he doesn't even know that he's traded. It really made me feel bad as somebody from the area.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. He went to high school, college. He was going to go play for the Sixers. His mom works there. He had the head on. And then, he was just talking to the media after the trade broke. And he didn't even know, so I definitely felt bad for him.
His mom should have just quit after that. I would have been very heartbroken, whether I'm her or her son, and I feel really bad.
Definitely.
Next pick is don't leave me hanging.
Kings? Marvin Bagley?
Oh yeah, Marvin Bagley to the Kings. I think that was a good pick, but I feel like based off of team needs, and maybe even just raw potential at the very least, they should have gotten Luka Doncic. But then again, Buddy Hield isn't exactly a point guard. He's a shooting guard. But they could have also made Luka Doncic, if I'm pronouncing his name right, the small forward on that team because he's, 6'8" and 230. So I think they should have gotten him, but Marvin Bagley is also a great pick because he's a versatile player who can play multiple positions. I believe his primary is power forward, but I believe he can also play small forward and center in certain situations as well.
Yeah.
So that was a good pick. What do you think about Marvin Bagley?
I think it was the safe pick because Doncic you really don't know what he's going to become, and I think Marvin Bagley is just like a guaranteed future All-Star. So I think it was a pretty good pick for them. And they already have a point guard, so they...
Yeah, right. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Who was a hell of a good player. I wanted the Knicks to get him, but then the Knicks fell way too far out of the lottery, but I digress. Next pick was... who was it?
Mavs, Doncic.
So they had Doncic. They got him from the Atlanta trade, of course, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
That was a great pick for Dallas. I thought the Mavericks would get Mo Bamba, but granted the trade, I think it was the safe thing to do to get... what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot already. Doncic. But at the same time, I like the Trae Young pick too for Atlanta, especially if Dennis Schroeder says he doesn't want to be in Atlanta anymore. Because now you could have a relatively undersized backcourt with Trae Young and Dennis Schroeder. Of course, I will put Schroeder at point guard because I'm sure as the more experienced player, he'd be a better ball-dominant player this early on. And Mikal Bridges can learn how to move without the ball and use that to his advantage, especially as a perimeter threat.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider the thing about Trae Young that a lot of people got on him for was how well he could protect the ball. So if he's going to be a turnover machine, in the NBA, maybe it's better that he doesn't play on the ball all the time, and you just let him kind of just settle into that.
Yeah. I agree. And going back to the Mavs pick, there's a whole bunch of reporting going on at the Mavs could get DeMarcus Cousins. So a lineup of Dennis Smith, Doncic, Harrison Barnes, Dirk, and DeMarcus Cousins could actually be pretty solid.
That'd be a great team. It would be an amazing way to send Dirk Nowitzki off. Dirk Nowitzki is like one of my favorite players ever, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree. He's a top 3 power forward in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a great inside-outside threat, and he does deserve to be sent off on his own terms. So if they were to land DeMarcus Cousins, not only would it be a huge improvement from Salah Mejri, but it'd be a huge improvement from Nerlens Noel. That's why I thought that Dallas would go and get Mo Bamba.
Yeah, and Dirk gets to mentor Doncic, who's also a European, obviously, which should be fun for him.
Of course.
All right, let's move on to the Grizzlies, who selected Jaren Jackson Jr.
All right, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's kind of like Frank Ntilikina. He was a relatively high pick, not exactly this superstar on offense yet, but he's a damn good defender, which in itself kind of warrants the pick, because I don't think a team like the Grizzlies wants to just rebuild so soon, because for one, they've been a model organization that no one really talks about in recent years, up until last season, where they kind of just had a fallout situation. Isbell getting fired, and Marc Gasol pointing fingers and all that crap. And even if they wanted to rebuild, I'm not sure how far that would get them. I'm not sure the exact cap situation of Memphis, but they gave Mike Conley like $140 million. So yeah.
And Parsons, he's got.
Yeah, his contract is terrible. I used to like Chandler Parsons when I was younger, but he really just fell off.
He hasn't played at a decent amount in the past couple of seasons, so.
Yeah, he hasn't. Sometimes it's just about politics, but I mean, it doesn't really equate when your player's not even there. I mean, for example, Joakim Noah, they had 71 million reasons to start him over Willie Hernangomez throughout that season. Yeah. 71 million. Willie Hernangomez is some random Spanish kid that we traded for from Philadelphia. But Chandler Parsons, he's just vanished, for better or worse. And it's just why do you want to give this guy an albatross contract? I'm not necessarily talking about those two in particular. It's from a general standpoint. Even people criticize the Knicks for Tim Hardaway signing, which is about the same as Noah signing. So yeah.
Yeah, remember that one game this season where Chandler Parsons hit a ridiculous amount of threes in the half?
Dang, I didn't watch enough of the Grizzlies to see that. And I love seeing that team play every now and then. But they don't have Zach Randolph no more. They don't have Tony Allen. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying about them not trying to rebuild. I think they're trying to retool rather than rebuild. Because they can't really rebuild. And at the same time, that's why they were trading down. They didn't want to get a lottery pick necessarily. So yeah, at least not very, very high lottery pick, because Knights is still a lottery pick, as you can tell by the Knicks.
Wait, what position does Jaren Jackson Jr. play?
I believe he's a power forward. He can also play center.
Okay, so I guess I'll have him next to Marc Gasol.
Right, in that front court.
All right, that's actually a pretty good front court.
Yeah, because Marc Gasol, he's a good facilitator, especially at the center position. You don't got guys like him nowadays, except for maybe Nikola Jokic, who's just starting to scratch the surface. So, yeah.
Okay. Next we have the Hawks, which you've already talked about, but I definitely like the Trae Young pick for them.
Me too. That's a very good decision. And I forgot the other guy that they drafted, but he's literally built like Klay Thompson.
Yeah, he's a shooter.
Yeah, I think they're trying to imitate the Golden State Warriors to an extent.
Yeah, I saw somebody say that, I don't know if it's their GM, but somebody working for Atlanta was part of the management when Golden State was built. So he's just kind of replicating what they have over there.
So maybe it is reputation. It's more like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, looks like it. Next pick, we have the Orlando Magic, who selected Mo Bamba.
I kind of have mixed feelings about this pick. I'm guessing that the Magic were going best player available. See, granted that Trae Young was already picked, and that's who I expected the Magic to get, because they have literally no point guards whatsoever, unless you consider DJ Augustin and Sheldon Mack to be worth anything. So, for them to have Mo Bamba, I know that Vucevic is getting kind of older, but he's still a pretty productive player. And when you consider the situation of the Mavericks, he's the most... I said the Mavericks, I meant the Magic. Oh, my God. He's probably the most productive player on that team behind Aaron Gordon. So, for them to just say, yeah, screw Vucevic, we're going to go with the youth movement, isn't a terrible idea. If I were the Magic, I probably would have just traded down so I could have gotten a guy like maybe like the Spurs, Lonnie Walker, or say, let me think, a shooting guard. I can't think of a shooting guard. Oh, well. But even then, they wouldn't even have to trade down. Do you know who was available? What point guard was available at their pick?
Oh, Sexton?
Right. So, yeah, that's kind of a head-scratcher for me. But it doesn't really matter anyway, because knowing the Magic, they're just going to squander their big-name player, and then they're just going to leave a free agency. It just keeps happening. And I'm not saying that to hate on Orlando.
Yeah.
I like the players that they've had over the years. I told you about how Hardaway was one of my favorite players. When I was growing up as a little kid, I wanted to be the next Shaq. I wanted to play basketball. So yeah.
Yeah, I like the pick for the Magic, but I just kind of feel bad for Mo Bamba. Like you were just saying, like he's pretty much destined to not have anything great in his career until he leaves. Like he's gonna be the third great center who's going to like put up numbers for the Magic and then just leave after Shaq and Dwight Howard. Because there's...
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't see the Magic getting out of that. They're not going to get any free agents, so I don't know.
Right. And it doesn't help that Orlando's not a very big market either.
No. All right, let's move on to the Bulls, who selected Wendell Carter Jr.
Okay, I like the pick, but my brother, who is a Bulls fan, he doesn't like the pick. But then he was saying, "Oh man, we should have got a point guard, a shooting guard." I'm like, I mean, y'all could always resign Adam Levine. Zach Levine. I don't know why I keep confusing his first names, but Zach Levine, I believe he's a free agent this.
He's a restricted free agent.
Oh, so that makes it even easier for the Bulls to resign him as long as somebody doesn't try to like give him this crazy offer sheet.
Mm-hmm. The Nets, probably.
Yeah. Wait, you said the Nets, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good team for him to go to. But I think the Wendell Carter Jr. pick was a good pick because even if Markkanen is playing center, or if he's playing power forward, they can put Wendell Carter Jr. in the front court to accompany Lauri Markkanen, because people forget Wendell Carter Jr. is a pretty good scorer shooting the ball. So I forgot what his shooting percentage was in college, but from three specifically, but he can be a pretty good stretch big in the league if he continues to develop his 3-point shot.
Yeah, that's going to be a good front court, and they have Dunn and Levine in the backcourt, which has looked pretty good last year. So they just need to get a small forward.
Yeah, you're right. But that's why I kind of thought they would get MPJ. But Wendell Carter Jr. is a big, imposing guy, so he can be a force on both ends of the floor if they take the time to develop him.
Next we have the Cavs taking Colin Sexton, which I think everyone pretty much guessed they would do, but...
Yeah, I love the pick, though. Because, for one thing, they haven't had a point guard since Kyrie left, because I forgot who was their starting point guard in the beginning of the year. But
Derrick Rose.
Wait, how many games did he start for them? Oh, my goodness.
He started all the games that he was healthy until he got traded, or until IT came back, and then IT started.
Yeah, I have really mixed feelings about that. So, that means Derrick Rose got traded to Utah for whatever team, Rodney Hood, and they traded for George Hill from, I forgot what team he was coming from. I think he went to the Jazz too. The Kings. Okay, the Kings. I knew it was some team in the West. And then you get all these 3-and-D players for LeBron, because LeBron's a slasher. You know he's going to want to kick it out to some guys on the perimeter because that makes him even more dangerous. And next thing you know, it just blows up in their faces. You don't really have much to work with because of that. With the Colin Sexton pick, you get a point guard, an athletic point guard, even though he's only like 6'1", so he's barely even taller than I am. He's so explosive. He may not be a great shooter, but he's a playmaker. He's a slasher.
So he's kind of like John Wall?
Yeah, but shorter. I mean, maybe not as great a defender, but pound for pound, I'd say he's more athletic. Granted, he's a bit smaller. But the thing about that is, knowing LeBron, if it were up to LeBron to make that pick, I don't think he would have won for someone like Colin Sexton, because Sexton's not a great shooter. Yeah, he can shoot threes, but he's not like somebody you have to worry about consistently behind the arc.
Yeah, you're right. Do you think the pick has any effect on LeBron James staying in Cleveland?
No, because to put things into perspective, I love the enthusiasm Colin Sexton for kind of reaching out to LeBron, saying he should come back if he want to win another championship or go to another championship. Because let's be real, Cavs don't have enough pieces to play with Golden State. No one does. It's okay.
Yeah.
But if I were LeBron, I think I'd be appeased enough to let someone like, say, Colin Sexton become the point guard, run the point, bring the ball up the court, all that stuff. But is that really going to be enough? Because Kevin Love, though he's still a pretty solid and productive player, he's getting older. He's gotten hurt a lot. You don't really have a center. Now, if they can get DeAndre Jordan or whoever to come in, that would be a blessing for them.
Yeah.
So maybe they'd actually have some hype going into this season, but that's all wishful thinking. And even after what I just said, they still don't really have a shooting guard.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You can't start J.R. Smith another season, I don't think. He's just not that player anymore.
No, you do not start a mid-36 man not named Jamal Crawford. Don't even start Jamal Crawford. They're 6 men for a reason. They can't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the one question mark at that point, because even without DeAndre Jordan, Tristan Thompson, when he wants to be, has shown that he can be a productive player. But the problem is he's only shown that so often in recent years. He's vanished ever since 2015, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah. Was it the year they won the finals that he was good?
Yeah, that was after they overcame 3-1 deficit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then he got out-rebounded by Curry the next finals, so.
I don't know, man. I was thinking Tristan Thompson was finally about to prove his worth. He was a first-rounder. He was drafted the same year as Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. He's a hustle player, so it's not like he has that much skill. So if he's going to bring the energy, then he's going to be good. So it's really up to him.
Yeah, because you always got to work on your consistency. And he's still relatively young, so it's not like he can't turn his career around either.
That's
but
true.
I don't see him as a center because he's only like 6'8", 6'9". You don't put 6'8", 6'9" at center, especially if you're not going small.
Uh-huh. And he can't shoot, so it's not like you can really use him in a small ball lineup. So.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to our New York Knicks at number 9. What do you think?
I really enjoyed this pick, but I already talked to you earlier about how I felt about Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
I love Knox because I've been keeping an eye on him throughout the college season. University of Kentucky is a very good school. John Calipari is a really good coach. And some people are going to discredit Knox because he played under John Calipari. Like, oh, no, he's only good because he played with John Calipari. No, Kentucky's just a good program. They know how to develop their players, period. Kevin Knox, I think, is NBA ready despite being only just, 2 years older than me. And I'm about to be 17. He's about to be 19. But, like I said, Kevin Knox, my problem with him isn't his offense. I think he can still be a double-digit scorer out the door for New York and a quality starter because he's very versatile. He's not an athletic finisher. He's a smooth finisher, however. He can shoot off the dribble and create his own shot, which is really, really valuable for anyone who's not a point guard or shooting guard, especially. Because you kind of expect that with the game being the way it is now to have some shot creators. Hell, even I became a shot creator over time by playing basketball on the street. But the thing about Knox that I think Mikal can't compare with, and I'll finally admit this, and you were right, is that Knox has way more potential and arguably has the most potential in the draft. It's just about what he does defensively, in my opinion, for his first few seasons.
Okay.
Because I think he has a great skill set for a rookie offensively. Now, for the defense, he's not a terrible defender, but he can be better. He can be a lot better, especially as he transitions into the NBA. And as a younger guy, usually, unless you see, all right, for example, Frank Ntilikina, a guy like him, a young guy is probably not going to be a great defender out there. And you have some of the league's best players playing that same position, like LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Antetokounmpo. So, I mean, he's standing up as tall as some of those guys, but is he as good? Those guys, no. So, of course, he has a lot of time to learn. He has a lot of time to grow and develop. So I'm happy about the pick, even if I did want Knox more. But the thing about, I meant to say Bridges, Mikal Bridges. I don't know why I said Knox. We did get Knox. So yeah, Mikal Bridges. I wanted him really badly because I felt like he was the most NBA ready player that would be available at our pick. But hey, Kevin Knox is a really good player too, and I'm really disappointed in a lot of people, not just Knicks fans, but basketball fans in general, who think Knox will be a bust because maybe he shouldn't have been drafted over Bridges or MPJ. And honestly, I would have drafted Bridges over MPJ, but I'm not a GM. But to see what Kevin Knox has in store already, scoring-wise, is really promising because, yeah, I mean, any team could use a versatile wing scorer. But also any team could use a really good two-way, 3-and-D prototypical shooting guard / small forward. And even though Knox isn't a shooting guard, he can play small forward and power forward. So if you go small out of a 6'9" power forward, that could create a lot of mismatches on paper.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if Fizdale says Knox can be a starter as soon as he becomes an official NBA player, as in when he finally debuts on the floor, then I'll have at it.
Okay, a few things I want to touch on with Knox. I think the defense, I think he has the tools to be a really good defender, actually. I think it was just he didn't have the motor, and he was just kind of, I guess, lazy when playing defense at Kentucky. So I think he has the tools. Like, if you see the Clicks video on YouTube, the same exact thing was said about Paul George. Like, the same exact thing. It was almost word for word. And Paul George is, like, a great defender, like one of the best in today's game. So...
And it's funny because Paul George didn't come into the league as a good defender either.
Yeah.
He got better as he matured. See, the thing with Knox, he has pretty similar, comparable measurements to Paul George, as well as another guy like Jason Tatum, who we just saw turn the league around in 2017, not 16. So, in 2017-18, almost helped the Celtics just propel through the playoffs and have their first final since 2008. But hey, he's still young. It just goes to show the Celtics are probably going to be the best team in the East for a long time once LeBron decides to get out of there.
Them are the Sixers.
So, do we talk about Zaire Smith?
Why would we talk about Zaire? Oh, he's going to Philadelphia? I totally forgot. Yeah, so you can touch on him a little bit. I honestly don't know too much about him, but what do you think?
For some reason I can't remember what school he went to. I don't know why. I don't know. He reminds me a lot of Danny Green when Danny Green was younger. This real athletic, lanky 6'7" guy. Even though I think Gerald Green is still a pretty decent player in his own right off the bat. I think Zaire Smith is a really, really interesting draft specimen. Even though I'm not going to say he'll be like the Ben Simmons. I meant to say the Ben Simmons. Why do I keep messing up the names? The Donovan Mitchell of this year's draft, I feel like he could really make a name for himself by his athleticism alone. But see, you can have the athleticism, but you also need the intelligence, the IQ to play the position that you have to play a sport in general. But usually, like I said, athleticism can take you a long way. So let's say you're not that skilled offensively or defensively on paper, but then you add that athleticism, it gives you a bit of an upper hand than what you would have had to start with. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Zaire Smith.
Okay, so what do you think about that trade we talked about? We talked about it for the Suns. So what do you think about the trade from Philadelphia's perspective? Do you think it was good for them to trade Mikal Bridges for the Smith and the first round pick I think they also got?
From an ethical standpoint, no. But otherwise, I think Zaire Smith will be a pretty good player for Philadelphia. Even though I don't think Philadelphia is the best organization in basketball, because they've done some questionable stuff in the past, and more recently the GM making burner accounts to berate his own players. What an idiot! I think it was a good trade for both teams. It was a win-win because Mikal Bridges can develop into a small forward, or even just not a shooting guard unless they put Devin Booker at point guard. Either way, I guess it depends on what they do with T.J. Warren. Or they could get rid of him.
They got to move Josh Jackson to power forward and use Mikal at small forward, yeah.
Yeah, because Justin Jackson is big enough to play both small forward and power forward.
Yeah.
Mikal, not so much. He's more of a shooting guard / small forward, a wing, per se.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, we have the Hornets. They selected Miles Bridges, right?
Jesus Christ. Can't the Hornets do anything right? Like when I saw that they traded, I don't even remember where they drafted Shai Giggity Alexander. Shai Giggity Alexander, we'll call him that for now because I almost just butchered it. See, I'm not even pronouncing his first name right. Oh my God, his name is just giving me aneurysm. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has like everything that Ntilikina does. The defense and the playmaking ability, but not so much the offense. And last year, people were just going in on the Knicks for drafting Ntilikina over DSJ. They still do it because they're petty. So tell me how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is what an NBA team needs if Ntilikina wasn't. Does that just mean Ntilikina was ahead of his time? I don't know. But they traded him anyway. So let's talk about Miles Bridges. I like Miles Bridges a lot. He's not the biggest guy. He's about 6'7", but he's 230, big, strong, athletic guy. Can score, can rebound pretty well. And I think the only thing about Mikal, the only thing about Miles that I may not like always is his shot selection.
Yeah.
Because there were some games throughout the playoffs. I remember, I forgot what game Michigan State played, but Miles Bridges, I think, went like 3 of 12 in the game. It wasn't because he was getting locked down, but he just wasn't taking the right shots. I think he'll be a great player for the Hornets as long as they don't do to him what they did to Malik Monk. God forbid.
Do you think the Hornets are going to go into a full rebuild mode and trade Kemba Walker, or is MJ just too stubborn and he's just going to sell tickets to barely make the playoffs or something?
I mean, the Hornets, historically, their status quo is being mediocre. Not good enough to compete, not bad enough to tank. So, they're not a terrible team, but they're a mediocre team. And being mediocre is honestly the worst case scenario for any team in the NBA because with the lack of parity, if you can't compete, you can't compete.
Yeah.
So you might as well just lose. That's why the Sixers kept tanking with Sam Hinkie until they finally told him to just screw off. So, with the Hornets, though, I think Kemba Walker, he should be traded, but I feel like he should have been traded sooner. I think he should have been traded after the 2016? Yeah, I think he should have been traded after the 2016 season because 2015 was the last year that we really seen a good Hornets team. They could trade Kemba Walker to a team like the Spurs or even the Cavaliers if they're daring enough, but they're not going to get anything back from the Cavs unless they give them some like future picks and like give them Colin Sexton but still.
Why would the Cavs do that?
I
I feel like Colin is better to have than Kemba is a free agent. If in a few years he'll probably leave.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking they can't really get much trade value now for Kemba. That's why I said they should have done it sooner.
Yeah.
If they were going to do it, they should have done it like 2016 or 17. Shoot, it even looked like the Knicks were going to get home.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, wait, one more thing though.
Yeah.
He needs to leave. Like, I don't care. He just needs to go. Like, Kemba Walker is one of my favorite players in the NBA. He needs to leave the Hornets as soon as possible because they need to rebuild. They need to clean the slate. They didn't have a really good coach in Steve Clifford. They don't have a good front office. They don't have any good players. I mean, they traded Dwight Howard for a bag of chips only for him to get bought out, apparently. Next thing you know, MKG, he averages like 13 points a game 1 year and then does absolutely nothing on offense and frickin' vanishes because he's either hurt or not playing offense because he can't even shoot. He can only play defense. He reminds me a lot of like Lance Thomas in terms of like his build and size.
Yeah.
Even Lance Thomas can offer some like occasional offense. I can't even say that for MKG. MKG is just this crazy lockdown defender who you can just sag off on the other end. So yeah, it's just the Hornets. They need to go in a rebuild mode.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like, I feel like mediocrity is just kind of annoying because like the Wizards, like you think they're in a good place because they're like a solid team, but if you think about it, how are they ever going to get any better? Because they have like no cap, and their players aren't going to improve that much, and so they're just going to go like 8 years of being good. They're never going to win a championship, and then they're going to have to trade John Wall or something for draft picks. So they're just like 10 years behind these teams like the Suns that are rebuilding in terms of winning a championship.
Because you can only be stubborn for so long in the NBA when you're just in the middle of the pack. You do just enough to make the playoffs like the Bulls did in 2016. Then you realize why that was a bad idea because you just screw up your draft position and you're in the playoffs for no reason. So then next thing you know, you need to rebuild. You have nothing. Now with the Wizards, I don't think the Wizards like playoff window is closed, but let's be real, they're not coming out of the East, let alone winning a finals.
Yeah.
Maybe if they had a better center than Marcin Gortat because he's really fallen off the past few years, and they had somebody that was like actually notable at power forward. I mean, they have Otto Porter, but he's a small forward.
Yeah, they don't have the money to sign anybody though, because they paid Otto Porter like $100 and something million for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're in cap space out. They should have just let him. They should have just let the Nets take him because that wouldn't have messed up their cap as much.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Mm-hmm. So now they're pretty much stuck for the next 5 years.
Better bring them trades to life. That's our new franchise player, Otto Porter, if it need to be. Shoot.
All right. So I guess we move on to the Clippers. I don't even remember who they picked. Do you remember?
I think they were the ones that originally were. Oh my God, Gilgeous-Alexander from the Hornets. So I'm guessing they originally picked Miles Bridges.
Yeah, and traded him. And then
yeah, so they must have also gotten.
They got like this Jerome something.
That wasn't the guy from. No, the guy from. No, that's Mitchell. Wait, no, I can't remember. See, this draft is just such a cluster cluck.
Yeah, they got Shea something Alexander, whatever the hell his name is, and they got Jerome.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got Jerome Robinson with the 13th
Nobody
pick.
cares. Nobody cares about Jerome Robinson. He's a power forward, right?
No, he's a shooting guard.
Who the fuck is Jerome? See, of all the players that got drafted this season, he was one of the players. He was one of the very few players that I didn't know who was. Like to me, Jerome Robinson was a terrible pick. Not necessarily because he's going to be a bust, and because I think he's a nobody, but because I don't think they were in any hurry to get a freaking shooting guard of all positions.
Yeah.
He needed a small forward because Danilo Gallinari's getting old. They could have gotten a power forward as well and just have him play next to Tobias Harris either way.
Yeah.
You put Tobias Harris at the 4, have this small forward to draft at the 3, and it's just why didn't you just keep Miles Bridges?
Yeah, either that,
Rob yourselves.
or just take Michael Porter with one of your picks. You have 2 picks. It's a free pick. Why not just take a chance on Michael Porter?
I'm really, really annoyed with like the stigma about MPJ. I don't care if he has a back injury. He should not fall all the way to 18. Okay? I don't care if you only played 3 games in college. You got players who used to just go straight to the NBA after high school. And in the ABA, they were drafting kids out of fucking middle school. and they played well, okay? The novelty, I get it. But in the NBA, like I said, you have professional players who were drafted straight out of high school. Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, freaking Kwame Brown. They were all transcendent talents in high school.
Yeah.
MPJ was a transcendent talent in high school. Only problem is you got the run and done rule now, which means you have to go to college for at least 1 year before you go to the NBA.
Yeah.
So to have MPJ not stay another year is, of course, a bad look. But that shouldn't mean, oh no, he's going to ruin our team. He's a bust because he broke his back. No, he's still young. It's like what I say about Porzingis. Yeah, he tore his ACL, but he's still young. So believe me, there's as good of a chance for MPJ to still be productive as there is anyone in the league as far as I'm concerned. Dude's only like 20.
Yeah.
He's only like 20, yeah. He's got a lot of time to grow and recover.
Yeah, honestly, there were so many picks that so many teams that I thought would pick Michael Porter. I thought the Cavs might take him. And when the Cavs didn't take him, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted us to take him because
I didn't really want to take him. I just didn't want us to take anyone not named Mikal Bridges.
Well, we did, but I wanted us to take Michael Porter because I didn't think he would fall to us. I was surprised he fell to us, and I got mad when we passed on him for Kevin Knox. But then to see all these teams pass on him, I really didn't feel bad about us passing on him because there must be something really bad about this guy's medical report if so many teams are willing to pass on him.
Yeah, I think he was blackballed by the league to some extent, but I still feel like you gotta give the guy a chance. Like, if he was he was the number 1 prospect for a reason.
Yeah, 1 year ago, just 1 year ago.
Yeah. And then you just turn on you. That just seems kind of fair weather by the front offices. Of course, he had it. Granted, there's safer picks because they're not all injury prone and made out of glass bones. But that didn't mean that MPJ should have been canceled out for that long.
Mm-hmm. Now imagine if he turns out to be like a talent like we thought he would. The Nuggets are going to be really good. They have Murray, they have Harris, a very underrated backcourt. Then MPJ. Paul Millsap and Jokic. Like that's a really good lineup.
That's low-key a super team.
Yeah.
Even though Paul Millsap's getting older, but Gary Harris is only getting better.
Same with Murray.
Right. And then you have Nikola Jokic, who's like Marc Gasol 2.0. He's like Marc Gasol with a jump shot. Not to say Gasol's a bad shooter, but I think Jokic will probably be a better shooter.
Yeah, Jokic is insane, especially his passing.
See, I was on the Jokic bandwagon before it was cool because I think it was last season, 2016, early 2017 calendar year. Nuggets came to New York, and I was just watching Jokic cook Porzingis. I was getting so mad. I'm like, yo, I knew Jokic was good, but how y'all letting him drop 43 at the Garden? No,
yeah.
This is exactly what Fizdale was talking about. You don't want these cats out of New York to come up to the Garden and say, oh, yeah, I love to play in New York. Oh, I'm the king of New York. Oh, yeah, I got my best games at NY. Yeah, I'm from NY. Nah, no. You got to make them feel intimidated, apprehensive, scared to play in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it just kind of goes back to that with Jokic. That's how I felt about him when I first saw him. And I was really hoping that he'd be enough to build around, though, too, after I saw what he did in 2016. And he was, because you have 2 good guards in the backcourt for them now. You have Paul Millsap, who's still a dependable player. on both ends of the floor, of course, might I add. And then you have MPJ, who could also take off that load of carrying the offense that Jokic had the past 2 seasons.
And they have Will Barton coming off the bench, who's really good.
Yeah. Assuming they resign him.
Yeah.
So, of course, they could do that, but I don't know, because I guess it really depends on how much Barton's asking for. I'm not sure how much he's worth exactly, because I don't remember if he said anything about his own contract, but, I mean, he's definitely, he could be a starter for them if they need him to. He's a great backup at least.
Yeah. I remember him saying that he wanted to go someplace with a bigger role, but I don't know if he'll actually do it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know. See, the thing about the shooting guard position is that the shooting guards are probably the most scarce position in all basketball.
Yeah.
So, to get a pure shooting guard, like, say, Will Barton, is pretty difficult. So, let me think of a team that doesn't really have a shooting guard.
Cavs.
Yeah, the Cavs don't have a shooting guard. You go to the Cavs. Play with Colin Sexton. You could go to maybe even the Spurs, because the Spurs don't really have a shooting guard unless they make either Lonnie Walker or Delonte Murray the shooting guard. Let me think of another team that doesn't really have a shooting guard. The Hornets don't have a shooting guard. I mean, Malik Monk should be the shooting guard, but I really don't know what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has a lot of options if he decides to leave Denver.
All right. So, those are all the picks I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or just end it there?
Lonnie Walker is God.
Huh.
He is, because he just got the hat and it's just levitating above his head.
Dude, that was so funny.
It was just so adorable, because like it felt like novelty. Like he just wore it on his hat. It was like he was wearing a hat, an invisible hat over a hat.
Yeah.
The way he grew his hair out, so it's not even directly on his head. I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. It was hilarious.
Let me think. Are there any other players I can think about, like, that got drafted past the lottery? The Celtics got Mitchell Robinson, which I think was a good pick for them, because it gives them some muscle in the down low game.
We got Mitchell Robinson.
I keep saying Mitchell Robinson. I forgot the name of the guy, but he was a power forward for the. I think he played for Texas A&M.
I know who you're talking about. Let me look, actually. Robert Williams.
Okay, yeah, I knew it had to be some normal name. Robert Williams, yeah, he averaged a double-double, I think, last season, like 11 points and 10 rebounds or something like that. So, I think the Celtics of all teams could definitely coach him up. But yeah, I don't really think there's any other picks of worth. Maybe a guy who wasn't a pick, LiAngelo Ball.
Poor LiAngelo.
He's built like a wide receiver, if you think about it. He's like 6'5" and 220. If he puts on like 20 more pounds, he could play tight end in the NFL. So,
yeah, I saw.
think he has the physical attributes. But,
yeah. The Lakers, they said they're not even inviting him to Summer League, so.
Yeah. But I think that's for the better, because, I mean, it's freaking Summer League. You want to get your best young guys out there. LiAngelo is kind of an anomaly.
Yeah. Do you think he'll ever play in the NBA, or do you think,
I think he can, but it'll probably be the road less traveled, because he's already undrafted, so he's going to have to find a team that has some sort of interest in him first. And I don't think any team is just going to say, yeah, we want this guy, LiAngelo Ball, especially if the Lakers aren't, because I don't think any team has shown interest in him besides the Lakers. And I don't even think that was really the Lakers organization. That was just LeVar Ball and Lonzo Ball, because, I mean, they're all related, so it's kind of just nepotism and the big baller brand crap and all that commercialism. But, yeah, I don't think anyone really wanted him.
Yeah, he's got to play. The only way I think he can make it is if he plays in the G League for a few years, and he just gets
Maybe
better.
He'll be Andre Ingram 2K. Yeah, he could be Andre Ingram 2.0.
Andre,
So yeah,
that was great. The Lakers game with Andre Ingram in like the
he
end of the
literally played
season.
the next game and went like 2 of 8, and nobody ever talked about him again.
Did he?
Yeah, I forgot what his exact stat line was, but it was really, really bad. Like,
That's funny. Like the first game, he actually shot well, so everybody was like hyping him like rookie of the year over Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons, and then
I don't know if they were really hyping him up, but I think it was kind of a feel-good story because, to put things in perspective, dude spent 10 years in the freaking G League. Not even Jeremy Lin has done that. And
Yeah.
he's been back and forth in the G League. But the thing about Andre Ingram, he's just raining threes and hitting all these shots, scoring, getting buckets, and helping the Lakers to an emphatic win. And then nothing to show for it ever again. Jesus Christ.
what do you think's gonna happen to them? Did the Lakers just like forget about him? Like it's not like they're gonna bring him back.
I mean, I don't think they should get rid of him, but at the same time, does it really matter if they bring him back? I mean, come on, like he's this old 30-some-year-old guy who just randomly had this one good game. And you can't really just label him a demigod after that. Really anything good. And the Lakers have pretty good depth at point guard and shooting guard, even though they lost Jordan Clarkson. But it's because they already had such great depth, i.e. Lonzo Ball, Isaiah Thomas, Josh Hart, etc.
Yeah, KCP if he decides to stay.
Yeah. So they should be okay. But I don't know, man. It's just how soon they forget. It's like when Troy Williams had all these crazy putback dunks in the biggest market in the league, and nobody was talking about him around my way. So.
Do you think? What do you think about Troy Williams? Do you think like he's a player we could play at all, or do you think it was just some dunks that got people a little overhyped?
I don't think it's not so much that he got him overhyped. More like you have to understand, even though he's still young, he's probably really just a scorer than anything else. So I think the best thing to do with somebody like Troy Williams, especially if Kevin Knox pans out, I don't think he'll be a bust. Not even in his first season. That wouldn't make sense. You don't call somebody a bust after the first season unless you're like part of the microwave generation, but that's neither here nor there. So, what I'm trying to make with that is Troy Williams is a good scorer, but I'm not sure if he's a good enough player to really prove, let alone over Knox, that he's going to be starter value.
What about would you play him over Lance Thomas?
Maybe, but only because Lance Thomas is older.
Yeah.
And plus, Troy Williams is like 1,000 times more exciting to watch.
Yeah, that is true.
Dude just has these reverse layups that you could only do if you like practiced them 100 times a day, like Kobe. He has these putback dunks that he just perfectly calibrates, and it just makes it so satisfying. He has these crazy plays where he's just getting these dunks just flashing through the paint. And there's even plays where he's hit threes here and there, which is something that he didn't do very well coming to New York. But he has shown flashes of his ability to shoot three-pointers. He just wasn't early on. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What about Kanter? You want him to stay?
I really don't care. But, I mean, I love Enes Kanter. He's a funny guy. He might be a bit of a smart-ass, but he's still a funny guy. He's really energetic, plays very well, offensively. But his issue is that he's just like a really bad defender. And the thing about Kanter is, yeah, Kanter's a really strong player. He's strong as hell, but he's not really that athletic. I mean, yeah, he had that dunk on DeMarcus Cousins, which is not easy, but he's still really not that athletic. Because I think if he had the athleticism, especially at 6'11", 245, 255, he'd probably have a better time guarding more athletic guys in the paint. I think that's his downfall. He can't go up against those more athletic guys because that strength does not trump athleticism in that case. So, if Enes Kanter were like to be, I don't know, if he had at least Porzingis's size, which is a lot to ask, and then that Cantor's only like 6'11" compared to 7'3". I'm sure Cantor will probably be a way better defender. But I don't even think that's an excuse, because he's strong as hell, and he's bigger than Cantor. He's at least the same size as Cantor, and he was a genuine Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Same goes for DeMarcus Cousins, and even Anthony Davis. Those players I just named are all great defenders. Even though I'm not sure if Cousins was on the Defensive Player of the Year list. The other two guys, Embiid and Davis, yeah, they were.
Yeah.
One of them was an MVP candidate, for crying out loud. So, yeah, I think if Cantor was an athletic player, the sky would be the limit for him defensively. But I don't think he has that athleticism that makes him the defender that we need. Like, O'Quinn, even though I don't think O'Quinn's better than Cantor, he can facilitate the ball, but he's also a better defender. So it's like, I don't know. If he's going to go to Golden State, fine. If Cantor's going to go to wherever, he can go back to OKC apparently, even though we literally just traded him for like a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the rules, they have to be traded for at least one calendar year before they can go back to their own team.
Yeah, so he's got to like wait till the end of free agency, right?
He might, yeah, because it was about, September 23rd, I think, when he was traded, because I remember that day specifically because I remember all the Trump crap and the national anthem controversy, and then at the same time we had a football game that Saturday. That's besides the point. So then you had that Carmelo Anthony trade, and you got all these people, let's get Melo back, let's get Cantor back. Yeah, it's really, really, really complicated. It's not that simple. And of course, if you get one player back, the other player's not going to still be on the same team. It wouldn't make sense. Because I know in the NFL, if that happens, like let's say you trade a pick for a player. If you cut the player and he goes back to that team you traded the pick for, you get your pick back. So, yeah, I don't know. Going back to OKC is like a shoe-in for Cantor.
Huh. Like, I like Cantor, but the only reason I wouldn't mind if he just opted out and just left is because that would give us $18 million next year. Like, in addition to, like, Lee and Thomas, who are going to be, their contracts will be ending. So we'll have a lot of money to sign a free agent.
And Noah, for that matter.
Yeah, Noah's 1 year after, though.
Wait, hold on. I know Cantor has a player option. I thought Lee was signed through next season, like Cantor. I thought they got the exact same deal, like 4 years back in 2016. No?
Noah's 2 more years. Cantor is 1 more year.
Okay. I knew Cantor only has the option, so yeah, 1 more year.
Yeah.
So yeah, either way, if he opts out, if O'Quinn opts out, it's good for our cap. More so Cantor than O'Quinn, because of course O'Quinn was a relatively underplayed player.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully the Mitchell Robinson pick works out for us. Like, if he can turn out to be just a solid center, he doesn't have to be an all-star, but just a solid center, that would make this team a lot better. Because then we don't have to worry about signing any of these guys.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Exactly, because a lot of people are hyping him up. I mean, we even see Luke Cornick light up the scoreboard. So if Mitchell Robinson can be better than that, I'm sure he can be a respectable player in the paint, like a rim runner, such as
Clint Capella
or Rudy Gobert. So, yeah.
Yeah, Woj said, like, that he might be as good as Aiden and Mo Bamba, I think, in a few years, which is pretty crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that either, but hey, I mean, he was a top prospect during his high school days. The problem is that he didn't even play at all in college. So yeah, it was going to kill his draft stock. But at the same time, it's like, whatever. He basically got drafted out of high school. So it's like what I said earlier about drafting kids out of high school and what I said in defense of MPJ's injury. Even though Mitchell Robinson is not like this injury plagued center or anything. So yeah, I mean, I really don't care if either player comes back. I would not be mad at all if they didn't come back, because that really helps our cap space.
Yeah, definitely agree. All right, want to just wrap it up there?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think we're good.
All right, man. It was fun talking to you.
All right, hopefully we can do this some more.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I'll talk to you later.
See you later, man.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that edition of the All NBA podcast. Remember, if you guys want to join to talk NBA basketball, just let me know on any of my social medias, Twitter, Instagram. Anything will work. Just let me know, and we could figure something out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and thanks for listening. I'll talk to you guys later.